They are two of the world's most famous men, princes, soldiers, celebrities. Members of the world's most illustrious dynasty, a life of duty beckons for Princes William and Harry. But for now, it's their private rather than public selves which make headlines across the globe. Unlike previous generations of royal ancestors, William and Harry truly are prisoners of celebrity. When Prince William passed out from Sandhurst Military Academy as Second Lieutenant Wales, his future seemed assured. Looking on was the woman dubbed William's Princess, Kate Middleton. A regular fixture at polo matches and London's nightclubs, Kate appeared a permanent fixture in William's life. Mature, dignified, and most of all discreet, she was hailed as the perfect girl for the world's most eligible bachelor. But it wasn't to be. Amid speculation they would wed, in April 2007 came shocking news. William and Kate had split. The news was an abrupt end to a 4-year romance, one which had enchanted the world. In a rare moment of indiscretion, Kate pointed the finger of blame at an unlikely source. In an eerie reminder of the ultimatum laid down by Prince Philip to his son before he wed Diana, Prince Charles had reportedly told William, "Marry Kate or let her go." Relationship problems weren't only confined to William. The hard-drinking, high-living Prince Harry is a headline writer's dream. Training with his regiment in Canada, Harry drunkenly chatted up barmaids during a late-night visit to the Cowboys bar. It was just the latest indiscretion from a prince who'd previously visited a strip club and been linked to a string of women, despite being in a long-distance relationship with Chelsea Davy. Despite his good works at an orphanage in Lesotho, Harry's antics frequently made for front-page news. Banned from serving in Iraq, but not yet a fully fledged working royal, Harry gives the impression of a prince whose life is without direction. His bad behaviour threatened to overshadow commemorations marking the 10th anniversary of a woman he loved more than any other, Diana. In a rare interview, the princess's son spoke of their love for their mother. Harry remembered Diana as a happy, fun, bubbly person who cared for so many people. She's very much missed by not only us, but by a lot of people. Upset by the negative reporting of her life, William recalled the amazing Diana, saying, "We were so lucky to have her as our mother, and there's not a day that goes past when we don't think about her and miss her influence, because she was a massive example to both of us." Unfortunately, William and Harry are faced with the kind of media scrutiny which destroyed their mother's life. Although aides denied he was drunk, Harry came under further criticism when it was alleged he attacked photographers outside a nightclub in 2007. It wasn't the first time. After a night out on the town for Harry, built-up pressure exploded in an angry scuffle with photographers.
Something obviously happened to trigger him, because the fact was Harry left, got into the car, and something happened that made him get back out and react.
For the newspapers, it was a good story.
I really feel it wasn't very royal behaviour, but you can completely understand why Harry did it. He was just pushed too far.
Friends like society girl Tara Palmer Tompkinson have had their drug habits revealed by the media. Tom Parker Bowles, son of Camilla, also took drugs.
Ever since the newspapers broke the story about his cocaine habits, there has been, I think, a deliberate effort to ostracise Tom Parker Bowles on the Prince's behalf, which must have been a very difficult decision for Charles to make, because, of course, Tom is one of Charles's godsons.
The two young princes really looked up to Tom Parker Bowles, who'd had his own problems with drugs, and they loved Tara Palmer Tompkinson. I don't think they had a bad influence on them, because I think it wasn't just them. I think it's unfortunately very much within society today at all levels.
William and Harry have never forgiven the more aggressive and intrusive paparazzi for harassing their mother.
And of course, after her death, you can imagine that they really think that they're a load of scumbags.
The British press agreed to let Prince William complete his schooling in peace. Afterwards, he thanked them at Highgrove, his father's home.
I was a bit anxious about how everything was going to turn out, but thanks to everyone, it really has been brilliant. You've all left me alone beginning. The whole of Eton made a real big difference with everyone not trying to sort of snap a picture every time I was walking around the streets, and I hope it just continues for Harry as well while he's there.
When William became a student at St Andrews University in Scotland, the press recorded his arrival, then agreed to leave him alone. But the public still clamoured for information about his life and about the type of girls the most eligible bachelor in the world would date. Well-bred girls were linked with William, and the hunt was on to find his secret girlfriends. What sort of girl does William really like?
He is into quite independent, quite feisty women. That's what he likes. So it wouldn't surprise me if he did go for that sort of woman.
But university life was not quite what he expected. He had to be persuaded to stay on.
I think it took William a long time to settle down in St Andrews, and he didn't want to join all the clubs and do a lot of the things that went on because he didn't want to let people down at the last minute.
William's History of Art course proved less rewarding than he had expected, and he switched to geography after his first unsettled year. The change was an indication that William was exerting his authority.
I really do want to be in control of my own life, and if I don't agree with what someone's saying or someone's pushing on me, then I won't do it. If I'm wrong and they're right and people tell me that, then obviously I'll change my mind. I'm always open for people saying I'm wrong, because most of the time I am. But I hate losing control. I think it's very important to see what you want to do and go for it.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Secretly, I'm a really good ball player.
Away from the pool table at university, William joined his friends with their surfboard on a nearby beach. A handsome and athletic young man, he makes waves as well as surfs them, keeping him on the front pages.
I don't think the press will ever leave William alone. I mean, fortunately, he has the good looks of his mother, and he's a very, very attractive young man.
A skiing holiday confirmed speculation that fellow student and flatmate Kate Middleton was William's girlfriend.
Kate Middleton was first photographed and came to everybody's attention when she strutted down the catwalk in a very flimsy, see-through chiffon dress with just her underwear underneath, and the prince had paid at least £200 for the privilege of being in the front row.
Behind his public image of restraint, William is just as much a party animal as Harry. The difference is the more astute William knows how to keep his private life and loves private.
He's not going to want to be pinned down to one woman, and very much as I'm sure Harry has, I think William has a string of very beautiful women in every corner of the globe.
Following his split from Kate, the media led the hunt for William's future queen. It was cruelly suggested Kate's former air steward parents were too middle class for the House of Windsor. Some of Britain's most beautiful women were immediately hailed as suitable royal brides, even those who weren't on the market for a new boyfriend. William had reportedly chased, but failed, to seduce the aristocratically titled Isabella Anstruther Gough Calthorpe. Holly Branson, the daughter of Virgin tycoon Sir Richard, also entered the headlines as a suitable bride. Even chart-topping singer Joss Stone was linked to William after they struck up a telephone friendship. The prince had invited Joss to sing at the concert for Diana, an event organised by her sons in memory of the princess's life. But the man who said he won't wed until he's at least 28 is, for now, simply happy to continue the search. A second lieutenant in the Blues and Royals of the Household Cavalry, William splits his life between army training bases and his father's homes of Highgrove and Clarence House. But it's in the countryside that William is at his happiest.
He still likes to run for the hills, literally, because he can run to his own little house on the Balmoral estate whenever he wants to.
The Queen's estate is set in the peaceful and scenic Scottish Highlands. Nestled in the valley of the River Dee, Balmoral Castle has belonged to the royal family for over 150 years.
The Queen bought a small house on the Balmoral estate for William, the purpose of which was for it to be a bolt hole for him so that he could escape when he was at St Andrews. It's not a massive place, but it's very tucked away, it's very private, and William likes nothing more than to take a group of friends to the house and indulge in a weekend of shooting.
Flickering images of King Edward VII, the Queen's great-grandfather, taken a century ago at Balmoral, show a long tradition of royal shoots. And at Balmoral, William can enjoy its seclusion and forget about his destiny.
I think William would rather do anything than address the reality of his position, but he knows he has to. But he does love Scotland, and he does love shooting. Diana said herself, you know, they are never happier than when they got a gun in their hands.
William has inherited his father's love of the countryside. He's interested in farming and doesn't hesitate to help out on the Duchy of Cornwall estate. One day, all of this will be his.
He himself has spoken of his passion for the countryside and all associated issues. He spent time on the Duchy estate. He obviously has a passion for farming, environmental issues, very much like his father.
But his destiny lies elsewhere. With Harry denied his wish to fight in Iraq, royal heir William knows he'll never be allowed to serve alongside his troops. Instead, the next stage of his life beckons, one which will see him quit the army for national service of a very different kind. Service to his people. It's a destiny of which he has been aware since his earliest days. On St David's Day in Cardiff in 1991, 9-year-old William was presented to the people of Wales. Here began his journey along the road to his destiny. Both his parents were there to guide the uncertain child. The man who worked with the princess for 8 years was Diana's private secretary, Patrick Jeffson. Her closest advisor, he saw how skillfully she groomed William for kingship as she introduced the young prince to the Welsh people.
It was, of course, most memorable because it was Prince William's first real public engagement, I think, certainly his first public walkabout. And the pictures show what a great success he made of it. And I'd add that one of the reasons he made such a success of it was that his mother is an Olympic-class coach at the art of the walkabout, and she coached him through it every step of the way. And I've got to say, he did her proud.
The young prince was learning how to behave like a royal. Even signing his name in his childish scrawl was an historic event. Prince Harry soon joined his more accomplished brother on royal walkabouts.
In training William and Harry for what was going to be a pretty unenviable career, as she saw it, she was very keen to make sure that they were prepared for the attentions of the media. She was quite sophisticated enough to realize that the royal family without media interest is useless, that the royal family depends on media interest, preferably friendly and constructive media interest. And To get the friendly and constructive, it has to learn to endure the less friendly. The press were going to be a permanent part of their lives, for better or worse, and it might as well be for better. And she had to teach them that the press could be friendly, but that the press would never be their friends. Because, as we all know, the press sells newspapers by building people up one day and knocking them down the next.
Often separated by royal duties, Diana always reassured her children of her love for them.
She was very keen that whatever other problems the children had to endure, they would never be in any doubt about their mother's love for them. I think she was a very expressive mother. She loved her children very much, and she wasn't ashamed of showing it. I mean, bearing in mind her own childhood and the fact that the royal family traditionally does not express its emotions very much, I think that she took a real pleasure in expressing her love for her children.
Many weekends were spent at Highgrove, the family's country home. It was here that the princess tried to create a normal life for her children, away from the public gaze. One person who saw that family life at first hand was her bodyguard, Ken Wharf.
When I first met the princess in 86, I had, reservations about what this family was going to be like. And I was rather nervous at this prospect. And I wasn't aware at that time that William, this one, was standing on a piano stool nearby, de-stamening these lilies. And the princess said to me, without any further introduction, she says, "I don't envy you looking after my children. They can be a bloody nuisance." At which point William turned and says, "No, I'm not. I'm not like that at all." And I thought, hang on a minute, I've really got a real-life family here.
William and Harry went on a Caribbean holiday to Necker Island, a billionaire's private paradise, with their cousins and Diana's mother Frances. Ensuring their privacy and security was the job of Ken Wharf, suitably dressed for the occasion.
Within 2 or 3 days of our arrival at Necker, there were 80, 90 members of the world's media ascended on Byrus Creek. James Whittaker acted, as you like, the colonel-in-chief of the Rat Pack.
They pretended then that we weren't there. I mean, there was no looking, there was no posing, because she always said, "I won't pose up for pictures," particularly with the children. So they then got on the beach, all of them, and they were playing sandcastle, generally fooling around on the beach. We were some way off, about 50 or 100 metres away, I would guess, trying to keep the boat as steady as possible because it was going up and down like that. And then I suppose we had 10, 12 minutes of taking photographs of them on the beach.
Get rid of this boat.
The royal party were in playful mood. Unknown to the photographers, William decided to play a practical joke on them as a penalty for invading their privacy.
He brought back 2 huge elastic catapults. And William saw these catapults and said, "I've got a really good idea for those." He said, "What we can do is we can blow up the balloons and fill them in water, and then we can catapult them at the photographers." And I said, "Hey, hang on a minute, you better speak to your mother about this." And the princess came and said, "Ken," she said, "I think it's a great idea." She said, "It'll be a great bit of fun, won't it?"
Get rid of this boat.
And as the press was assembled, William gave this word to release these cannonballs. And I think James Whittaker took a direct hit on the chest.
They were naughty young boys, so in their sort of childish way, they wanted to pelt us because they knew that Mummy and Daddy found us a bit of a menace. In the old days, of course, they would have had us ordered into the stocks and our feet would have been tied and they would have pelted us with rotten eggs and water.
Lech, Austria, and the massed, noisy ranks of the foreign press were waiting for the princess and her children. Ken Wharf, in his orange ski suit, had to defend his charges with more tenacity than usual. This was not easy in a ski resort which is public territory. Ken organised a photo call to give the royal party some peace. Acting as unofficial press secretary, he satisfied the British media with this arrangement. But some of the bolder elements of the world's press could still be difficult.
Can we go back in that, please? We attracted the usual group of paparazzi, and I say paparazzi as distinct from, you know, your Fleet Street trader. And this particular Italian, as it so happened, wanted to interview William, and I said, look, I'm sorry, he doesn't give interviews, he's a young boy. And he was persisting, and I just then politely took hold of his collar and planted him in a snowdrift just to the left. Much the annoyance, the fun of Harry, who's turned and said, oh, good Ken, he said, do it again.
And there was this wonderful movement. He didn't punch him or anything, but the next thing, he ended up on his bum on the floor in the ice. He had decked him.
Then this guy got up and ran towards me. My colleague said, watch your back, as this guy tried to lay a punch on me. Well, of course, I naturally defended myself, and the great shot was me defending, or shall I say, fighting with this paparazzi, which was wrong with hindsight.
Then Ken just gave the word, right, back. They turned round and they went back into their hotel, the Arlberg.
Later, a photo call was arranged to give the press greater access to William and Harry and their young cousins, Princess Beatrice and Eugenie, daughters of the Duke and Duchess of York. It was William's first press conference.
And Harry, in as well, nice and tight together?
That's it. Good look here, please.
Morning, William. How are you enjoying your holidays together?
Quite nice.
Enjoying it? It's good.
Fun.
Good fun.
Improving these two, very good.
They're improving.
Very good skiers.
Richard, sorry, could you ask round here? Sorry.
Can I ask a question behind us?
Rob, we
Sorry.
Very nice.
William, do you hope to have a skis together at some stage?
Yes, it'll be good fun. It'll be very good. Enjoy it.
One more minute and we'll call it off. Thanks.
Can you look this way? Hello.
You're right, usually. Beatrice, you're right.
Hello.
Do you think can we do something different?
The two boys can put the skis down. You think you just bend down like
Right. Could you look at this camera, please? Just at this one. I've got a.
Yeah, in the middle.
Thank you very much.
Here, can you just...
Diana wanted to relax with her children on holiday. She was happy to trade a few minutes of organised access in exchange for peace the rest of the time. If that agreement was breached, she was ready to complain. When she spotted Mike Lloyd, a freelance cameraman, continuing to film, it brought out her protective instincts. This time she would confront the culprit herself. A princess on the warpath was an awesome sight.
Excuse me. As a parent, could I ask you to respect my children's space?
Yes, sir. Yes. No problem at all.
Because I brought the children out here for a holiday.
Right.
And we'd really appreciate the space. We've had 15 cameras following us today.
I haven't been one of those.
No, but as a parent, I want to protect the children.
Even when I used to say, look, guys, time's up, let's call it a day, there'd always be the odd one or two that would linger for that different shot, because up until that point, they've all got the same picture. But I think Diana, at this particular point, had seen Mike Lloyd's camera rolling and thought, well, look, the only best way to stop this is just to put my hand in front of the camera, which seems to be something that's done now with other media celebrities. I think it's a bog standard way of saying, I've had enough.
As a child, Prince Harry seemed oblivious to the cameras. William frequently turned away. Inwardly, they both hated the attention.
They saw what photographers did to their mother. I mean, it's when you see a picture of Diana walking down the street, you think she's all alone, but in fact she's got 30 photographers running backwards in front of her to get the picture. The boys witnessed that, and they knew it made her unhappy.
There were other times when Diana herself might have tipped off the media. This was to convey the message that Charles was absent from happy family outings, such as their visit to Thorpe Park.
He's actually won.
Whenever we went anywhere with the children, it was a foregone conclusion that the media would turn up. But the princess, by now, of course, was getting rather used to all this. These were happy pictures of her enjoying fun with her children. And in Diana's case here, I don't think even she would complain about the quality of pictures.
I knew that, to an extent, both Charles and Diana used the boys to score points off each other during their divorce. It would have been incredible if they hadn't. And I'm not saying this was done maliciously or with great calculation, but inevitably, given the very overheated and rather antagonistic atmosphere between the mother and father, and given the fact that they both had very demanding schedules, it was inevitable that sooner or later, who had the children when and for what purpose was going to become a factor. And in that respect, they were no different, I'm sure, from many, many other divorcing couples.
The boys had limited access to their royal grandparents, seeing the Queen mostly for Christmas at Sandringham and for Easter at Windsor.
When I was younger, I had a lot of time with my grandparents because they were very busy, and I was probably a very annoying little plonker when I was younger. But it's been, I've got to know them much better now in the last few years and become very close to them. And I really look up to them.
The daily journey to school was one way Diana made sure that she had the greatest influence on her children's upbringing.
Their mother was crucial to their lives in those early days because Diana was the one that was responsible effectively for their education. I mean, remember when Harry and William both started school in North London, there wasn't a day that went by where Diana wouldn't take them to school personally and would organise her diary around the fact that she had to be at school at 8:30, 8:45 in the morning.
She also had to teach them the protocol expected of them when appearing with the royal family, that Princess Diana's child-rearing methods were the very opposite of royal tradition.
The Queen was used to the more old-fashioned ways of children are seen and not heard, which was very much how she was brought up and very much how Prince Charles was brought up. But Diana hated the way Prince Charles was brought up. She blamed what she called his anal retentiveness on his upbringing she felt there was no substitute for a mother's arms and he was always in his nanny's arms.
Prince Charles was sent to Cheam, an English boarding school, at 8. This momentous occasion had to be shown to the public. At 13, he went to Gordonston in Scotland, where he felt isolated and unhappy. At the same age, William joined Eton College near Windsor. The event was filmed and broadcast, making him an exception among his fellow pupils. But setting him apart in this way had its drawbacks. Not all his schoolmates were impressed.
When William started at Eton, he was teased, he was probably bullied a bit, and it was just a very difficult period for him. And it's not an intimate little school. There are over 1,200 pupils there, and they are not all going to be nice to William because he's a prince of the realm. They don't care. They're all quite grand there.
William showed skill at drawing. He became interested in art and studied it through to university. Rowing was among the many sports in which he participated. Like his mother, he was an excellent swimmer and became captain of the swimming team. William grew more confident at school and made friends, but inwardly he was upset by publicity surrounding his parents.
I think William did become skilled at hiding his feelings. I think he became quite introverted and withdrawn during the really difficult days of his parents' marriage. and he would lock himself in the loo and just not come out.
The boys had to join their estranged parents on official occasions like Victory in Europe Day celebrations in 1995.
Children want their parents to be happy because it makes their life happy. And I think before the separation was announced, there'd been so many fights and so many rows, which of course the children were aware of even if they hadn't witnessed them. So when Diana finally accepted that there was no way forward except a separation, I think it was a relief to everyone.
The death of Diana in 1997, following a car crash in Paris, caused mourning on an unprecedented scale. Harry, still 12, needed his father's support while looking at tributes left at the gates of Balmoral. William, 15, sought the Queen's comfort. Few grieving children have ever been exposed to such intrusion, but as royal heirs, they had been groomed by Diana for every kind of public duty.
She took very seriously the fact that her children were born to one day hold, the top offices of state. What she was doing was giving her children, a set of tools with which they could form their own judgments about how they were going to do their jobs when the time came.
In 1998, William, Harry and Charles made a visit to Canada. With his film star looks, William enjoyed a fanatical reception. He easily outshone his father and brother. Two years later, the grown-up prince, now 18 and taller than his father, faced the press at Highgrove to announce his gap year plans.
I wanted to do something constructive in my gap year, rather than, I could do quite a lot of work, but I thought this was a bit more of a way of trying to help people out and meet a whole range of different people from different countries, and at the same time helping people in remote areas of Chile.
William went to Chile for 10 weeks with Rally International, a volunteer group, ready to live and work together in primitive conditions. He took his turn with the chores.
You just be aware what time it is. Got up at 6:15. It's far too early. Now I'm gonna feed it to my father till he's sick, so he can see what we went through. I'm so embarrassed about it. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might shoot myself this afternoon, right? Try it first, then come back and want some more. I doubt you will. No, that's the worst porridge I've ever tasted in my life. That is absolutely hideous. Oh, that is foul. Oh. We're living in an old nursery. It has got a vague carpet. It's got a roof over our heads, which is more than what we've had. Sleeping on the floor in a sleeping bag with about 16 other people all cramped together underneath a slide or a climbing frame or something. With one bathroom. It's all you need, really. You don't have any secrets in Raleigh. You share everything with everyone. And that's why I find it very difficult myself to start with, because I'm a very private person, and I still am a private person, but I learned to deal with it more. The problem is you can't go anywhere here to get space or privacy. There's always someone around you. You have to be with people. It's very difficult to get away for your own time. So that's one thing I had to learn to deal with.
Marie was William's team leader, and he followed her orders, taking his turn on the cleaning rota.
Yeah, Marie, she's so canny as anything. She knows where her bread's buttered, doesn't she? That's all right, well, you go and do the dishes. No, Marie, don't worry about it, I'll do it then. Marigolds are now officially a fashion item. I think I get along with these guys so well as well. They will come out here to join rallies to gain their experience and to gain a bit of knowledge about other parts of the world. And we all get along so well because I hope I don't come across as someone who's, you know, that I was trying to be treated differently by the staff or anything. They all treat me the same. The locals treat me the same. And I love having no restrictions, you know.
William helped out in a local nursery, displaying the same easy rapport with children as his mother had. He also kept in touch with Harry by writing frequent postcards home. The Prince, known there as Will, stood in as a disc jockey at a local radio station.
Just want to say, there boys, there's big ups to Ruthie, we love you babe, I hear you listening, a few extra listeners out there. And for any of you people who are in a bit of a mood for love, this song is for you.
I think William's trip to Chile was extremely good for him. He came out of it a much more grown-up, levelled human being.
Now the father of 2 adult sons, Prince Charles continues his own life and interests, refusing to bow to criticism of his outdated and quaint lifestyle. William and Harry are understanding and adopt a gentler approach.
They have a great relationship with their father now. They tease him about being an old fuddy-duddy and having old-fashioned ideas, and they bring him into the 21st century too, so they have a lovely relationship with him.
Reports of Harry's drink and drugs problems and his rowdy behaviour have caused problems for Charles, a single parent.
The minute Diana died, he took control, and people criticise Charles now for saying he's not doing enough. How can he let Harry fall out of nightclubs at 3 o'clock in the morning? But you can't control a 20-year-old boy. He's a man.
Harry is a problem, but with greater maturity, William has grown to appreciate his father's charitable work. William is protective of Charles and defends him against attacks.
He's had a difficult time, and it's just sad. I said this last time. I'm sure he's the same words, but I just wish more of his charitable work was concentrated on, because he does do a hell of a lot of work, and the Prince's Trust is just an amazing organisation, and I really hold him in great admiration about the amount of time he gives up to do work here and there.
Despite their different personalities, William and Harry are close.
There's very little age gap between us, so we're both pretty similar in that sense, and we get along, really well. Harry and I and my father, we're a very close family. There are disagreements, obviously, as all families do, and when they are, they're big disagreements. But when there's happy times, we have really good time. It's just it's difficult getting all 3 of us in the same house at one point, because obviously father's really busy, Harry's travelling or wherever, and I'm up here.
On the polo field, there's companionship between the brothers, but there's also rivalry. This is the one area where Harry outranks William.
Harry is the better polo player because Harry is the better sportsman, and he is the better rider. And I think that irritates William. But they have a lot of friendly banter when they're playing polo.
The brothers' one-upmanship is occasionally set aside for a friendly game of bicycle polo. As children, William and Harry were limited to official appearances at ceremonial events, such as the annual Trooping of the Colour and the Queen's birthday. "14 years later, as a young man, William attended the remembrance ceremony at the cenotaph for the first time. It was an opportunity to witness the Queen's dedication to duty and the respect in which she is held.
She's a real role model. She's just very helpful in any sort of difficulties or problems I might be having.
Even when William was at Eton, he would go and have tea with his granny. And, at St Andrews, with him having this small house on the Balmoral estate, there are times, obviously, when the Queen is up there, and during those times, he does make the effort to go and see her.
Sometime this century, this student prince is destined to become king. He will inherit an ancient throne and be called King William V.
The monarchy doesn't have any real power. It's a constitutional monarchy, but I think William would make a wonderful, young, vibrant figurehead for us to look up to.
What will William do next?
I have reservations about everything, and the serious side of that doesn't really need to worry me too much yet.
At St Andrews, William took advice from his tutor, but he's an independent thinker too.
The thing is with me is I look on the brighter side of everything. There's no point being pessimistic or being worried about too many things because, frankly, life's too short. The last thing I want is lots of, people telling me what I want to hear. I'd much rather hear what the reality of it is.
Being an usher at a friend's wedding reminded William that he's duty-bound to marry. Greeting his grandparents at the society wedding of Lady Tamara Grosvenor reminded us that his bride would be a future queen. His uncle, Prince Edward, married career girl Sophie Rhys-Jones. Could this be the type of woman for William?
She was a career woman with her own public relations company before she married into the royal family. And the fact that she was a very modern woman, I think, stood her in good stead. I think that's also the sort of woman that William would go after, from what I hear through his friends. Look at what happened with Princess Diana and how she was forced to adapt. It must be a very, very strange world to marry into, but hopefully, given what happened with Diana, whoever marries into the royal family next will be given support and preparation, because I think that sort of role is hugely pressurised.
Lady Tamara Grosvenor, daughter of the wealthy Duke of Westminster and a kind of girl ideally suited for a prince, married William's friend Edward van Cutsem. Edward had been a page boy at the wedding of William's parents in 1981. He and his three brothers are close and reliable friends.
Prince William spends an awful lot of time with them and takes a lot of advice from them, and I think sees them as very, very important influences and great friends.
The Van Cutsem brothers are also close to Prince Harry, who's trying to plan his own future. His experience as a school cadet attracted him to a military career. Unlike his brother, Harry is not set for university. Harry has a place at Sandhurst Academy and will train for army life. But what will William do?
He's hinted that he may well go into the army. He graduates in June. I think he will probably travel a little bit. I think there are still corners of the world that he'd like to see. Harry is actually far more suited to the army career.
But heirs to the throne have traditionally undergone military training. But what does William say about it?
Honestly, I haven't actually set my mind on anything yet. But, there's plenty of possibilities that are open. Sandhurst itself would be a great place to learn how to lead and to, earn respect and just treat, other men and other guys who I'd be looking after with the sort of, you know, ability that I hope I could do.
His days at St Andrews have given him a freedom he's unlikely to experience again. But his romance with Kate Middleton might not last after university.
I don't believe he'll settle down with Kate Middleton. I think that a permanent split is on the cards pretty much as soon as he leaves St Andrews. I think the reason that hasn't come to fruition yet is quite simply because at this crucial time in his schooling, it would just be a massive mistake to have a high-profile split months before his finals.
As much as I've loved St Andrews and I've loved being here and being at university, I am ready now to get out and do different stuff. There's so much I want to do, and I just, you know, it worries me occasionally I won't be able to do it all. But I'll make a good start of it anyway.
William also is at the stage now where he wants to have some fun. His years of having fun are very limited. I think he has a strong impression that it's going to end at the end of St Andrews. I think he'll want to extend that boundary as long as possible.
The young princes already enjoy a hectic social life when they stay in London. Other rich, privileged young people form their private circle. They mix with celebrities in some of the capital's most exclusive clubs, such as Bougie's and Pangea.
The cocktails are fabulous and they come in giant fishbowl-sized goblets. I think William's choice of tipple tends to be red wine, although he also enjoys lager. With Harry, he's more of a Red Bull and vodka sort of lad.
Friends supply safe houses for parties, and the princes choose discreet clubs where they hope to evade the paparazzi.
A lot of the time, I think he spends at friends' houses because he's protected and sheltered there. At the end of the evening, they may creep out, William in a baseball cap, to visit the nearby St James's, which has a great bar, and where he would go relatively unrecognised. He has turned up at some of the better-known hotspots, which usually are frequented by his brother, but not so long ago William did turn up at Bougie with friends, and from what people said, had a thoroughly enjoyable night. Bougie is a relatively discreet, small, underground club. It's very dark, it's quite funky, there's a massive waterbed in there and a great little dance floor, and there's a tucked away area which is where William tends to centre himself with his friends as and when he does go there.
But the press still prove intrusive. It was outside Pangea that Harry got into an unseemly scuffle with a photographer.
They both got this obsession with wanting to be like normal people. They want to do normal things. They want to be able to go out and go to pubs and not be photographed, and go to nightclubs and not have 20 paparazzi waiting outside. But the trouble is, if you're royal, you are not normal. If you have the privilege, you have to have the responsibility, and the responsibility is to behave yourself.
At the moment, it's about having fun in the right places and enjoying myself, and as much as I can, I'm trying to do that.
The opening of the Princess Diana Memorial Fountain by the Queen was a reminder of the loving mother they lost.
The Diana who made such an impact on our lives. Of course, there were difficult times, but memories mellow with the passing of the years. I remember especially the happiness she gave to my 2 grandsons.
I think William and Harry are very close as brothers because they're the only 2 people that really understand what it's like to be them. And I think this draws them together, and the royal family have a habit of discussing problems amongst themselves.
William has the advantage of his height, good looks and his mother's charm. But will these be enough to make him a popular king?
I think he has all the ingredients to become an excellent king, because the thing about William and Harry as well is that they're very normal. They're very much more like us.
Like us, but set apart from us by their heritage, Prince William and Prince Harry are destined to remain the prisoners of celebrity. As their lives unfold, interest in them can only intensify.